Good morning, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. People, let me bring it to your attention now. I will not be posting any more videos on that very popular St. Vincent Me Come From page, because I want the first thing people going to that page to ever see is my video that detailing Ralph Gonsalves' senility. I want that to be, so I will not be posting anymore. I know a lot of you have already following the page and are looking forward to see live and other videos on that page. But this is my new place. Now, while I'm here, I am here at the Music Center in downtown Los Angeles. This is a place where the devils and humans, those who have the hue or the appearance of man but are not man, come to recruit themselves. Remember last week when I was doing my video, I was having trouble. What happened? The Music Center sent their security. Well, it's really the guy who supervises them is Jonathan Silva, to interfere with my video. And I say, if they continue to interfere with my video, I'll be coming up here to do videos. So I normally don't come up here. Why? Because I don't want to be around or be dealing with these vipers, these devils, these humans. So I stay away from them. I'm not afraid to come up here, but I just don't want to be around them because I could never and will never be their friends. So I am doing this video here today because they have been interfering with my video, and if they continue to do it, then it will become a regular occurrence. But my people today, the North Leeward Quarry projects are posing problems to Vincentians again. Now, remember, this North Leeward Quarry project is being pushed forward by Ralph Gonsalves, not by the government, by Ralph Gonsalves, without a social impact study being done or without an environmental impact study being done. And Ralph Gonsalves have given these people 30 years. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines is expected to make about $1.5 million per year from the sold of aggregate and taxes. This is not much. This is not a project that a government will really concern themselves about. These are projects that small Vincentians should be trying to invest in. Right? So when you see government is going through the trouble of acquiring the lands that are being actively used by farmers, so that those lands can be destroyed by a foreigner to do quarrying. And if you remember, 2 months ago, the Ministry of Agriculture, in a memorandum of agreement with the Caribbean Secretariat, said that they will be doing all in their power to produce more food, so cheaper and more access to food will be available within the CARICOM. But here we see they are dispossessing farmers from their lands and taking them away from making a livelihood. Ralph Gonsalves took a contingent of ministers down there, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to have all of these ministers and high-profile government officers leave their duties to go to visit a project that will only bring $1.5 million into our country, right? Into the government coffers. Foolishness. He make all kind of big promise to the farmers that they are going to get paid for their land. We don't know what arrangement has been made to pay the farmers for their lands, and they are going to be compensated for the crops they have on their land. Now, listen to this. A young man with about 40 fruit trees on his land was called into the Ministry of Agriculture to settle the cost of the 40 fruit trees on his land. The Ministry of Agriculture offered this young man $1,000. $1,000 for 40 fruit trees. They don't have a system of compensating these people across the board where everybody could know exactly what their property would value, what their fruit trees would value. No system whatsoever. They think that these people are not accustomed to money. You have to remember, it's not really North Leeward we're dealing with. The people of North Leeward are accustomed to money. The people of North Leeward was who involved in the marijuana industry before the government take it over. The people of North Leeward are accustomed to making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month from the trade and selling of marijuana. It's not that they're not accustomed to money, but there are some people in North Leeward who have chosen not to break the law of the land and to go into lawful farming, and now these people are being dispossessed and they are taken advantage of. It is not the responsibility of a government to oppress and to exploit the people. It is the responsibility of any government to grow the resources of the country and to ensure every citizen grows and benefits from those resources. People, the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines, when they decided that they are going to compensate the farmers for their food crops, for the plants on the land, they had an obligation to take an inventory of every farmer they are dispossessing, what type of fruit trees they have on their lands, and the quantity of those fruit trees. So if you have avocado trees and you have 20 avocado trees, there must be an inventory with John Jones, avocado trees 20, mango trees 40, golden apple 1, so that the ministry will know exactly what they are compensating, who are they compensating, and what they are compensating the people for. Another thing this inventory should constitute: how old are the trees? Because the age of the trees will determine the yield of the tree and the potential yield of those trees. The size of the trees, because the size of the tree will determine the amount of fruits the tree will produce in a year. And the approximate yield of fruit, the tonnage of fruits, the farmer has predicted to get for this season and the other season coming. And when you get all of this, you can now make an assessment and determine, well, for avocado trees between the age of such and such will pay this and this. Avocado trees between the age of such and such will pay this. Because an avocado tree is not an avocado tree. An old avocado tree will produce less fruits than a middle-aged avocado tree that is now getting going. And it will produce less fruits, or just about the same amount of fruit as a young avocado tree that starts growing. So now let us use the avocado plant as an example in this discussion, and you can spread this across the board. An avocado tree takes about 4 years before it starts producing, and in the first year of production, the amount is going to be very small. And as the years go forward, and based on the care of the tree, the yield each year will grow. So now if a man have an avocado tree, it's about 6 years old, and it is in its prime of its life, and it is bearing maximum fruit, and you're asking this man, You're asking this farmer to give up his avocado tree that he has been yielding maximum yieldage from at a cost. The first thing you have to do, you have to quantify for 4 years how much he would have made for 4 years at this level. And when you have quantified that, based on the age of the tree, you can now put a value in that tree. You're going to take a work. But if you want to dispossess the farmers and you're promising to pay them, you have to do what is right by the farmers. Right? And since it's going to take 4 years or 5 years before the avocado tree start bearing fruits, now you are obligated to pay them an average of what it would have cost them for the 4 years they have to wait without reaping anything while they replant their new avocado crop. The same way go across the board. It's not about calling a man and giving $1,000 for 40 trees. What value did that 40 trees bring to that man's livelihood, his income and his family? Those things must be taken into consideration. You understand? The Ralph Gonsalves and his government are always getting involved in things without thinking it through. Now it's going to cost the government more than they are going to make from the $1.5 million a year. Because first thing they have to do, they have to properly take over the land from the farmers. Right? That means change of ownership on these and all kind of thing. They have to now compensate the farmers for all of their produce on the land. And not only that, they have to now find new lands for the farmers. And because it was not the farmers' will to move, it was the government's will to move the farmers, they have to now ensure that the new land that the farmers is now given, the deeds and all of these things must be done correctly, lot number and everything, and placed in the farmer's hands. This is the obligation of the government when you choose to foolishly, without thinking, dispossess farmers in such a manner. You have an obligation to the citizen to do that. You understand? It's not about calling a man in the office and say, hey, look at $1,000 sound good. They're not accustomed to money. Not Leeward people handles more money than people and across St. Vincent and Grenadines. You understand? More money than lawyers, more money than doctors, more money than the Prime Minister have ever seen. These individuals, farmers in North Leeward, have been handling that over the years through the marijuana trade. It's not that they don't know money, it's that Ralph Gonsalves is doing everything in his power to dispossess the people of their opportunity to make an honest living. He wants to make our people dependent on everyone but themselves, from government and on foreigners. People, this is his plan. So when you're calling people in your office, you must have a set program, a set plan as to how you are going to compensate these people. And the plan must start by determining what kind of trees. You must do an inventory of what the people have as properties. So if you are going to compensate the people for their properties, which are properties that yield a profit for them on a seasonal basis, you have to do it in a business-like manner. You see, Vincentians, farmers, this is why you ought to take farming serious. This is why you ought to do projection. This is why you are supposed to have an idea at how much pounds of mangoes you will yield from a particular tree by start keeping records. So if you are keeping these records, then you will know that this avocado tree on a yearly basis at 7 years old normally give me about 500 pounds of avocado every year. Or it give me 500 or 1,000 full size large avocado every year. Measure the diameters of the avocado that come from the tree. And then you can now put a standard on your product. But if you're just planting and weeding and fertilizing and watering, picking and selling without making an inventory of the amount of time you spend weeding and farming, of the amount of fertilizer you use in a particular area, and the amount of yield that you got, you are wasting time farming. Farming is a business. Farming is also a science. Your objective in farming is to ensure that you do less work, spend less money, and produce more crops. And you have to be figuring out what is the best way to accomplish this. That means you have to be keeping notes, trying new things in order to see what works better for you and your business. So we see Ralph Gonsalves' objective is to injure the citizenry of St. Vincent and the Grenadines rather than to put the infrastructure in place to ensure that the people grow, their wealth grow, and they are able to take care of their family. People, what he don't understand, when the people grow, more money spends, more taxes are received from the government, by the government, sorry. And when government receive more taxes, they have more money to execute their plans and their programs. It's a simple method. But for 20 years, Ralph Gonsalves have been administering the affairs of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And for 20 years, he have not learned anything. Sad. It's sad. So my people, remember this. Right? The people of North Leeward have to stand up, and stand up with a consistent stand like the people of Leeward. When the people of Leeward stand up, they come out. It's not about politics. It's about our community. North Leeward have to adopt the same thing. And the North Leeward people can stop this project from going forward. You don't understand the power that you have in your hands. You don't understand the power that you have in your hands. My people, where is Patel Matthews? Patel Matthews should be leading these people. I mean, you don't want to make it political, but the politicians who is in opposition must make themselves available to provide technical, moral, and other support to the people who are standing up against the government. This opposition don't do that at all. People, you honor your own under Dr. Friday's opposition. It's not that Dr. Friday and his opposition will go in and take over the protest. It's that they go there and stand in solidarity and resist the urge to take over even when the people are pushing you to take over. Let them know this is your protest. We are here to support you, not to take it over. But simple things like that they can't do. My people, my name is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent. My name is, Chief Strongblood. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, favorite and most hated son. The diaspora machismo. I'm leaving the seat of Lucifer, the demons and the humans, Those who have the hue, the appearance of man, but are not man. I'll talk to you soon. I'm out.